All right, indeed, Hakuna Matata. But in Kenya, we say Hakuna Matata. It's a very local but very global term as well. Right now, we want to shift gears into something different. Matters investment in Kenya. There is a body that is responsible making sure that, investment, there is inflow of investments in Kenya, to be specific. And in this regard, I'm joined by Mr. Guracha Abdi, who's the General Manager at the Kenya Investment Authority, to help us discuss this particular issue. First of all, Mr. Guracha, just starting us off, what is your assessment in terms of, the ease of doing business in Kenya right now?
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. The ease of doing business in Kenya, I think there's a global ranking. Kenya has been improving. If you looked at from 2012 to 2018, Kenya jumped about 76 places from position 135 to, in 2018, position 61.
Definitely.
And you remember 2017, we were position 81. So 19 places from the previous year. So there's a lot of improvement in terms of government reforms, which, is, contributing to this improvement.
Definitely.
And I can enumerate a number of areas which has actually given rise to this improvement.
But even before we go into such details, because oftentimes we see reports, for example, the one produced by the World Bank, Ease of Doing Business, and we correlate that to what is happening on the ground.
Yes.
We have high unemployment when it comes to youths. We're seeing companies wrapping up. They're closing down. People are losing jobs. Can't you see a contrast right there? As much as we're doing very well in the ease of doing business, but our businesses are not doing well.
Well, I think it's two sides of the coin. You can look at a company winding up, but the following day you can see a number of them establishing in Kenya. And the data at KenInvest can show this. And the businesses in Kenya, you can see even from their profit, the result companies actually announce. You see, it is not as bad as, you see some companies closing. And this closure could be strategic. Companies moving to different areas, maybe they have achieved what they wanted to achieve in this market. But obviously, in our records indicate a number of companies are establishing in Kenya. In APZ, SEZ is coming up, but I think the operational one at the moment is a private one, Tatu City. So from where we sit,
yes,
this is two sides of the coin. You can see one closing, but several others opening base here in Kenya.
Okay, and yes, our statistics when it comes to employment, I think that is totally a different venue, because oftentimes we expect that investments will double down to employment
Correct.
And business vibrance on the ground. But let me take a different step a little bit. The trade imbalances that we're seeing as a country, yeah. For example, recently you had the dialogue with Japan, the platform where the two countries can engage on matters investment, how we can see more FDI coming from Japan into the country, and even Kenyan products being sold out to Japan. There is a huge trade imbalance right there, and it's not to our favor. What is being done to rectify this and bring some sort of level playing field?
Right, a number of initiatives are happening. It is true. As a country, agriculture contributes in excess of 30% to our GDP. And what we export mostly into Asia, Europe, America are our agricultural products. These agricultural products normally we export them almost in raw form. So even what the value or what is fetching is also compared to the machineries, equipment, electronic equipment, automobile that we import from those countries. That is the imbalance. And of course, also agricultural sector, the products have a lot of stringent measures for them to access some of these countries. But government is doing a lot in terms of creating platform for easing some of those stringent conditions. Like for instance, what was recently negotiated for export of avocado to China.
Yes.
And the same maybe even to Japan, coffee, tea.
Yes.
Our flowers doing well, our horticultural crops are doing well into Europe, Amsterdam. So,
And may I just cut you short there?
Yes.
On the horticulture, we've seen Finlays closing up some of its, areas of operations. Like 2 of them, people are going to lose jobs in some of these areas. To be specific, they're saying that the market when it comes to horticulture is, it's not as stable as it used to. But this agriculture-based economy, being a backbone, an economy that the backbone is agriculture, do we stand against the steel of Japan, for example? They're importing cars from them. Yeah, other places we import. Should we change the way we approach, the way we do investment locally in terms of sending out products out there?
Yes, agriculture is still okay for us to still continue investing, but we have to change tact in terms of value addition. If we add value to our products, take an example of coffee. The coffee you find in our shops come from Europe, from Switzerland, from Germany, wherever. So what does it show? The price with which even you, as a Kenyan consumer, buy is double or maybe 5 times what our coffee beans can fetch. So we focus on value addition. With focus on value addition, then I think we'll be able to get more value for our products.
Yes.
But also we are looking at in the Big Four agenda, in the Vision 2030, some of the sectors we are looking at are manufacturing sector, where we are bringing in, attracting manufacturing companies to come produce in Kenya and even export back to their country. For instance, that would be one of the strategies to reduce the trade imbalance. For instance, if Japanese companies invest in Kenya in manufacturing sector and those products are required back home in Japan, will be actually checking the trade imbalance.
Yes.
That is what the dialogue we had with Japan is all about.
Okay.
How can we ensure that our product access their market?
Yes.
And we then...
That is quite impressive.
Yeah.
Now let's take a look at Africa, to be specific, because we've seen, like, we try to get into dialogue, for example, with Japan, which is a good thing. Intra-Africa trade by itself, we as a continent trading within ourselves.
Right.
Even intra-East Africa trade, pretty low. Actually, 1 digit you get, I think it's standing at 7% inter-East Africa intra-commercial trade, which is quite low. Anything being done to make sure that we're trading more with Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and whatnot?
Yes, I think there's a deliberate effort by African leaders to ensure that this state of affairs is actually corrected. That is what gave rise to the CFTA, which is now trying to see how best the trade between Africa is accelerated, and that we may not be looking at AGOA in America. Let's first look at our own within our continent. We have enough market.
Definitely.
But some of the non-tariff barriers, some of the tariff barriers which are existing. This is what some of the areas the leaders are addressing. As you are aware, within EAC, we are common market. Goods from Kenya that meet the threshold of rules of origin can enter all these other market without any duty.
Yes.
The same is also at free trade area in COMESA level. So the SADC, all these bloc are talking to each other, hence making the CFTA a reality.
Definitely.
Yes.
The foreign direct investment, as we close up, in brief, where do we stand as we are right now as a nation? How much FDI is coming into the country?
Well, there is a bit of data collection challenge here in Kenya, because as KenInvest, it's not mandatory for all investors to come to KenInvest, all foreign investors. So you can find even in media, some investors are investing in this sector and the other. But from 2012, the figure of $250 million, that's what was reported in economic intelligence in UNCTAD. And in 2017, we had $672 million FDI attracted into the country.
Okay.
But in 2018, we more than almost tripled, $1.6 billion. And we are hoping to build on this to surpass the $2 billion mark.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to business today.